Well, this is kind of a jam, isn't it? Good morning! Happy Hump Day on the Morning Night Live. I'll turn it down so you can hear me better. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's another one of those days. I thought today I was going to try to stay away from the non-stop Israel talk because everyone's talking about that. I want to talk about other stuff. There's gonna be a little bit of it in there because some of it you can't get away from. But I would like to talk about some of the other things that are happening, or have been happening, and also just another example of you getting the news from me first. There's a few of those in here. We're gonna do it all today. So I hope you're ready. Johnny, would you please turn that music off? Very well, sir. And play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes, that would be me. Here comes my face. Johnny, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where sometimes we think of other things to talk about than the Middle East. Yes, I know it's the biggest news in the world right now, and it may be the catalyst for another one of those worldwide conflicts. You know what I'm talking about? Wow, my hand gets way up there. Look how giant my hand looks when it's like this. It looks like I have giant hands. Anyway, yeah, I just want to see. I want to talk about other things. I mean, I still think it's an important topic because it's, like I said, it may be the catalyst for World War Trace, but you know, maybe we can talk about some other stuff. Yes, Richard Roundtree has passed. That is it's one of the trending topics right now. So we're going to get into a whole bunch of other stuff. Let's say hi to everybody and we'll just get going because as often I am, in the words of Yoda, I'm late. Late am I. So first in the chat over in Rumble, of course, Mr. Avocats Diabli gets the bell. Oh, does that seem really soft to you? That was weird. Does that... Oh, maybe it's just me. I had my monitor turned down, or these things turned down. Also, good morning to Jimmy Das Hotep from Hotep Nation. Next Gen Troll is in the house, and Sully209 on Rumble. You know, yesterday we had 21 people watching on Rumble. Now, granted, some of it's you guys who open windows on both sides of the aisle, but it is kind of cool that there's more people checking it out over there, but they don't quite get the notification as fast, or maybe they do. I don't know. You see, it says there's 12 watching. Oh, he says there's 12 watching. I don't understand that. I have a window open. You 3 or 4 there have a window open. I wonder who the other 6 who are always. Are they just fudging numbers on me? I don't know. But anyway, welcome to the show if you're watching on Rumble. On YouTube, first in chat is also Avocats Diabli because he does, double duty. You get 2 bells and again, by the hair of the chinny chin chin, Kara Soldier, second. Good morning, Jimmy Das Hotep again. James Colley's in the house. Yes, but long live Boomer Vision. Good morning, fake news expert. Good morning also, Simon Wolfwood. My favorite Canadian, Jaeger Pony. Why is my I can't, there it is. That's just really weird. Yeah, that's right. I'm having a hard time hearing myself. Maybe it's just old age. I don't know. Also, Blackout 8879, a new regular at the show. I'm so happy to see you. Good morning. Also, Anonymity, aka T2. I'll be back. Good morning. JB's in the house. Nice to see you, Lord Stanhope. The Batman. Wait, what's the Batman song? Why am I blanking out on the Batman song? I was starting to sing the Mission Impossible song, but that's not Batman. Batman. If you're familiar with the '60s sitcom Batman versus the serious and why so serious Batman of the movie genres and stuff. Let's see. Also, good morning, the Grand Inquisitor, Ty Alexander. Is in the house. What's up? Holy Alzheimer's Batman. Yeah, I was having trouble there. Batman. Which Batman movie was it? It was the one with Jack Nicholson in it when he played the Joker, which I thought was a pretty good. He is the Joker, right? But that's the one where Prince did this soundtrack and he had the Bat Dance song in there and they had like the Bat Rap or some shit like that. It was actually pretty good. I mean, if Prince could write a Aunt Jemima pancake commercial, I would think it was good because I just thought he was a brilliant artist. But whatever. I don't know what made me think that. When I ever think of Batman, when I think of the Joker. Okay, there's so many different iterations of the Joker, and the one that always pops out in my head is Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I thought he was great at that. I mean, granted, the dude who played it in the cartoon series was okay too. What was his name? Was that not Vincent Price? No, Vincent Price was some other character. But yeah, Party Man. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Party Man. That's a great song, man. Party Man. All right, so like I said, we're going to talk about some news that isn't necessarily being talked about as much because everything's about Israel right now. It's dominating the news, and it's probably because it's going to cause another war. But let's do real quick. Let me do thank yous real quick. Oh my God, another one. I swear to God, these people are just relentless. These fake accounts they'll put it. Okay, so if you're on the app formerly known as X, or excuse me, the app formerly known as Twitter, I got my joke mixed up there. I've been stuck around 1,800 followers on Twitter for a long time. But every single day I get one of these fake accounts with a girl. They put a picture of a pretty girl and they've been on Twitter for 5 years and they only have one freaking follower. And then they have 0 posts, or they have one post of the same pretty girl, or not even the same pretty girl. Sometimes the different pretty girl, or, something that you go, oh, who is this follow me? And I'm like, it's nobody. And every time, look, if you happen to see this show and you're one of those people who post those fake accounts, I remove them immediately. It's funny, this morning I got one, and I literally go on Twitter, not there. I go on, and there's a notification like 10 seconds later that there's this new follower, right? And so I immediately removed it. I just removed them all. And, I guess you don't have to remove them. I don't know why I do. But I don't want fake followers. Fuck that shit. I don't need that shit. I don't need followers that bad. I don't care. I'm not a follower counter. But anyway, my point here was I was going to thank Somnable Nation for tweeting out the show. I greatly appreciate it. I'm retweeting you right now, or reposting. Please, if you have it in you, okay? No, that's weird, because that could be like, hey baby, if you have it in you. I don't want to talk about that. That's not what I meant. I meant if you have the forethought and oh, I'm stupid. if you could retweet the show or share the stream, share it somewhere, invite a friend, bring people here who watch other things, or don't spam other people's streams, but just come on down and hit that share button and share arrow or wherever it is and share the stream. Good morning, Ercole DiStefano, and also Chris Kroll. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, and Jimmy Das Hope Tip already right away. Just see, you retweeted my tweet of the show, and I appreciate it. So share the stream, let people know we're here. All right, let's get into the news because I'm short on time today. We have a new Speaker of the House, and that's why I made that the headline today. But it's not this guy. It's not this guy. Tom Emmer is not the Speaker of the House. The congressman from Minnesota. He represents pretty much the western suburbs of the Twin Cities, Minnetonka, and all that. Majority Whip Tom Emmer dropped out of the Speaker race after his nomination's inevitable collapse became apparent amid a large number of Republican holdouts. Emmer secured the nomination on the fifth round of voting Tuesday after the lowest vote getter was eliminated after each round. The tally in the final round was 117 for Emmer, 97 Representative Mike Johnson of Louisiana, with a handful voting present for other candidates. So they said, no, we don't need you, Mr. Emmer. Instead, the new Speaker of the House is this guy, Representative Mike Johnson from the state of Louisiana. He is now no, is he just the nominee? Oh, no, he's just the nominee. I thought we had a new Speaker of the House. Well, I don't know if this was going to happen either. I read it wrong this morning, so the whole premise of my show today is fucked. Anyway, he wins the Speaker nomination. Now, I think this guy might be able to secure the speakership. He's a Trump ally, but he's not. I don't know. Here it is. Representative Mike Johnson, Republican Louisiana, is the latest Republican Speaker nominee, winning only hours after Mike Emmer won the nomination and later withdrew in the face of deepening opposition. Johnson, the vice chair of the Republican conference, entered the race for the first time Saturday, ultimately finishing second to Emmer on Tuesday's first round of balloting. My theme is simply trust and teamwork, Johnson said Monday of his pitch to his colleagues. We have to get back on track. That message resonated with the conference as the reliable conservative earned support across the ideological spectrum. So that could we get a speaker out of this? Now, I jumped the gun. You're still rolling out for Rockford Fosgate. Who the fuck is Rockford Fosgate? That maybe, just maybe, this could happen. He's getting a broad spectrum of support. And I think Mike Johnson's a good guy. So I don't know. There's editorials on him. I don't know anything about him. All right. Let's go on. Oh, let's talk about the Biden crime family real quick. Look, this is a hodgepodge of articles. All these articles will be in the links today. As you know, I dropped the links into a single link called a one-tab link. It ends up in the chat at the end of the show, and I drop it into the description of the show on Rumble, on YouTube, and in the Discord server when I do the replay links. It'll be in that too. So if you want any of these articles, or you're trying to figure it out, or you want to use it for your own stuff, they'll be in the links. One tab link. All right. Let's go on to the Biden crime family. That was quick. I was going to talk more about the speaker. Wait, what? Nice subwoofer. That chamber needs more bass. I don't know what that means. Oh, they made speakers. You're talking about. Okay, got you. That's a joke. Got it. Good morning, Septus Wolf. Okay, moving on. So remember the other day, there was news about Joe Biden seemingly getting a direct payment from his brother immediately after some of the Chinese.
China is asshole.
Immediately after the Chinese paid his brother. And they were trying to say, oh, no, see, that was Joe took a loan from his brother, even though they had no kind of evidence of that. And no, he wasn't really getting paid because China paid his brother. Well, Apparently, that story is getting holes blown into it. James Comer blows holes into Joe Biden, or James Biden's explanation for giving Joe Biden $200,000. So, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, Republican from Kentucky, on Monday blew holes into James Biden's reason for allegedly cutting President Joe Biden a $200,000 check in 2018, claiming it is a story contrived out of their rear end. In other words, he said, you guys are talking out of your ass. James Biden, Joe Biden's brother, denied the $200,000 check he gave Joe Biden was due to a pre-existing business relationship. He insisted the money was a return payment for money Joe Biden had lent him. Now, you got to remember, let me just break this down slightly for you. Do you remember when when Trump won the election, right? And as Trump was getting set to move into the White House, and Barack Obama was moving out, and Joe Biden was moving out of the vice president quarters, and there was a big hubbub because Joe Biden was broke. Joe Biden didn't have any money. In fact, they didn't have to take a loan from the Obama, so he could move out of the second home there at the naval base, whatever it's called. And so he was broke. But then here it says that James Biden was saying that Joe Biden lent him $200,000. Now, if he was broke, how would he lend his brother $200,000? Anyway, Comer, who subpoenaed James Biden's financials in September, said James Biden's financials contradict the claims. Here's what he told Fox Business on Monday. This check that Jim Biden wrote to Joe Biden came on the same day he received a $200,000 loan from a company that was on the verge of bankruptcy and today is bankrupt. On the check to Joe Biden, his brother put loan repayment. Now, the White House is saying that Joe Biden loaned his brother money. I don't believe he did. Let's say they pull something out of their buttholes that says Joe Biden loaned Jim money. Either way, we have James Biden's personal bank records. I can say with confidence he had no money to pay Joe Biden back other than the $200,000 wire that came from AmeriCorps Health Company. Okay, it wasn't China. It was AmeriCorps Health Company. Comer continued to explain the incident on Monday on Real America's Voice, saying that either Joe Biden was paid $200,000 as part of an influence peddling scheme payback, kickback, dividend, or Joe Biden actually made a loan to his brother. And because his brother influence peddled AmeriCorps Health, he paid him back $200,000. What? Either Joe Biden made $200,000 or he didn't lose $200,000. Either way, Joe Biden is $200,000 better off today because of his family's influence peddling scheme, Comer added. And like everyone else, we know that Joe Biden met the CEO. We know that Jim Biden made a pitch for AmeriCorps Health that he could help them get all sorts of money from the Middle East through his brother's contacts in the Middle East because his brother was the vice president or former vice president. Anyway, the idea is like they think everybody's stupid. They really do. The Bidens think everybody's stupid, and they're showing you evidence of all the stupid shit that they did. So anyway, and speaking of this, so remember, Biden was broke when he left the White House. Okay. And of course, George Takei, the Star Trek actor, is all up Joe Biden's ass, but not in the good way. Here's a story in the American Spectator related to this. Joseph Rahim Biden pays cash for beach palace while you struggle to get a mortgage. And more evidence of corruption has surfaced. So anybody here sick and tired of Joe Biden's sycophants coming out of the woodwork to declare his innocence? Time and time again, when more evidence of corruption surfaces, it is exhausting. And here's George Takei. I'll do it in a George Takei voice. The fact that Joe Biden, wait, how's he talk? The fact that Joe Biden's brother that's not it. because he says that a lot. Anyway, the fact that Biden's brother wrote Joe Biden a $200,000 check as a loan repayment does reveal one very telling thing. The Biden family pays back its debts. The Trumps filed Chapter 11. Oh, isn't that special? These motherfuckers can't say anything. You can't say anything about Biden without them saying, but Trump did it. Trump. What about Donald Trump? What about the Trump family? Motherfuckers. Anyway, what was noted, Hollywood has been and leftist ex-Twitter mouthpiece George Takei talking about. Well, Margot Cleveland at the Federalist summed things up quite nicely on Monday. Bank records released on Friday show Joe Biden received $200,000 from funds his brother Jim Biden siphoned from the failing healthcare company AmeriCorps. Beyond providing more proof that President Biden directly profited from his family's selling of influence, this new evidence, when read together with AmeriCorps' bankruptcy filings, revealed Joe has the money that rightfully belongs to innocent creditors. On Friday, James Comer, the chair of the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability, announced that bank records provided in response to subpoenas the committee issued last month revealed Jim Biden wrote a $200,000 check to his brother, now President Joe Biden, on March 1st, 2018. The same day, let me repeat, the same day that the failed AmeriCorps wired $200,000 to Jim and his wife Sarah's personal bank account. The same day. Hello, the bishop. Your job has open Wi-Fi now. You can listen. All right, that's cool. The same day they sent Jim Biden a $200,000 wire, Jim Biden wrote a $200,000 check to Joe Biden. Now, granted, he wasn't vice president anymore, but still. In releasing a copy of the check and detail of the discovery, Comer referenced Joe Biden's June 2023 quip, quote, "Where's the money?" Well, we have found a $200,000 direct payment to Joe Biden. And he countered, publishing a photograph of the check Jim Biden signed. The memorandum line described the money as for loan repayment, which we know is bullshit. In announcing the discovery of the direct payment, Comer highlighted the immediate questions that President Biden must answer for the American people, including whether any documentation proved, quote, he lent such a large sum of money to his brother, end quote, and whether he had, quote, similar financial arrangements, end quote, with other family members. Because they keep sending them checks, but Joe Biden lives large off of this somehow. Hello, furry kitten. What's up? So, the Oversight Committee chair further asked whether President Biden knew, quote, the same day that James Biden wrote him a check for $200,000, James Biden had just received a loan for the exact same amount from business dealings with a company that was in financial distress and failing. So, hello, Annalyn. What's up? So anyway, so now, I want to go down farther down here, though, because I'll skip this. They talk more about that stuff. But by the way, the question is, since the $200,000 payment James Biden made to Joe Biden was marked as a loan repayment, where is the evidence of the original loan? It doesn't make all that much difference, either way. The Bidens looted somebody else's company and got away with $250,000 worth of investors and or creditors' funds. Well, let's just say it's 1/5 of a million instead of a quarter. So if you or I tried that, well, there'd be some unpleasant consequences. But for the Bidens, no. Now, let's see. Where's this part here? This is what I'm going to show you, though. It's easy to think, and as easy as you'd think it would be to stay away from leeches like the Bidens, there are sure a lot of folks who got mixed up with them. And why not? The villagers aren't having all that great a time right now. It seems like making friends with some pillagers is the only way to fly. But then, who's living... Okay, this is the part that I want to talk about. Who's living better than this after all? It's Joe Biden's favorite place. The summer home in Delaware, the beach home, I guess. His summer home in Delaware, where he has decamped dozens of times during his 1,000 days as commander-in-chief, As the Daily Mail has revealed on Tuesday, he has spent at least 300 of those days either in the country's second smallest state or on vacation. He bought the home at a time that it appeared his political career was over, 5 months after his vice presidency. Remember when he was bankrupt? Remember that? Hello, Renee Mayette. What's up? And he was well into his 70s, and after all, he had decided to forego a 2016 run for the presidency. But now, that house in the tiny town of Rehoboth Beach could turn out to be a major embarrassment as Republicans continue to push to find business links between the 46th president and his son Hunter. Daily Mail has discovered that the then private citizen Biden, who had spent virtually all of his life in public service, bought the home for slightly under $2.75 million in cash. He paid cash for this beach home, $2.75 million. Remember, this is the guy who was broke when he left the White House, supposedly. And making the transaction even stranger, it was within weeks of a highly questionable text that Hunter had sent to run along Raymond Zhao, an associate at Chinese oil giant CEFC, asking to seal a deal worth $10 million a year. Quote, this is that, remember that thing when he said, I'm sitting here with my father and we'd like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Remember, he's threatening the guy to say, oh, I'm right here with my dad. Hello, Zed. Zed the Snarky's in the house. Then he appeared to threaten Zhao, who he calls Z. Tell the director that I'd like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, he writes at 9:45 a.m. And now means tonight, he adds, apparently referring to time in Beijing, which is 12 hours ahead. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person who knows he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my directions. This is when he's threatening the guy, right? So this is the same time here's a $10 million deal. Joe Biden pays for a beach home for $2.75 million. It's a coinkydink. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Must be nice to have the kind of financial management skills whereby you spend your whole adult life making a government salary as a U.S. senator, and then out of the blue you choke out $2.75 million for a beach house once the check clears from China. And yet the George Takei of the world will react to this by championing your financial rectitude. As opposed to rectum. Rectum could have killed him. Anyway, you can read the rest of that. It's just fascinating that the broke former vice president paid cash, $2.75 million cash for a home right after his son got a big deal. All right. Oh, and they also, here's the thing. Remember how Biden said, oh, I don't know any of these people. I don't know anything about my son's business dealings. I don't know anything. Well, there's more evidence that he did. Biden, associate at Center of China Money Transfers, played golf with Joe up to a dozen times, according to the FBI. Hunter Biden's former business associate, Rob Walker, who wired money from China to Biden family members, but not to Biden himself, but all of his family members, played golf with Joe Biden between 8 and 12 times. He told the FBI in December 2020, a December 2020 transcribed interview. Wait a minute. This was an FBI interview in 2020? Isn't that when Joe was running for president? Isn't that when Joe was saying he has no connection to anything his son does? He doesn't know anything about his son's business. Doesn't even know these people. But he was playing golf with this guy a dozen times. Walker spoke to the FBI about his role in Hunter Biden's business enterprises with Chinese partners and described his golf outings with Joe Biden according to a partially redacted transcript from his FBI interviews. Okay, have you met the VP of FBI, Agent Wilson, whose first name is redacted in the transcript? Asked. Yes, Walker replied. Wilson appeared to press Walker about his interactions with Joe Biden. I mean, I would get called and I'd play golf with him probably 8 to 12 times. Played golf with him. And Bully Rock in Highway to Grace with a bow and hunter one time. Okay, whatever. Yeah, no connections whatsoever. You can read that when you're on it. But they lie all the time. You can't even buy a car for more than $10,000 without an investigation how you could buy this. Or how you could buy this. Yeah, you just got to wonder. You got to wonder. All right. We already talked about this, but here it is in legal insurrection, Trump Georgia case. Lawyer Jenna Ellis takes a plea deal. We talked about this yesterday. And again, to get a plea deal in these kind of cases, because they can ruin you. Their job is clearly to ruin people, and they're going to bankrupt you through to go through the entire appeals process. Or you can take a sweetheart 6 months probation deal where you pay a $25,000 fine and have 100 hours of community service for some misdemeanor bullshit, which is a pretty big for some misdemeanor. That's a pretty big sentence for that too. But anyway, Jenna Ellis took a plea deal in the Fulton County election interference case. In exchange for her cooperation, Ellis pleaded guilty to 1 count of aiding and abetting false statements and writings. So 1 count of saying things legally, freedom of speech, whatever, but maybe it was, I don't know, who knows the official shit. The count stems from her testimony before a Georgia Senate subcommittee on December 3rd, 2020, along with co-defendants Rudy Giuliani and Ray Smith. Ellis knowingly and willingly and unlawfully made false statements about election fraud in Georgia, according to her new charging document. Under the terms of the agreement, Ellis must serve 5 years probation, 100 hours of community service, and pay a $5,000 in restitution to the Georgia Secretary of State's office. Restitution? Oh, for her time? I don't know. She agreed to testify truthfully when called, provide documents and other evidence, to refrain from posting about the case on social media, and to pen an apology to Georgia voters, which apparently she had already done. So there you go. Who signed that? Fannie Willis herself. So instead of going bankrupt, she pled to a misdemeanor. Good for her. Also related, apparently there's a Mark Meadows. Apparently they're claiming that he made some kind of a deal, but that may be erroneous. That's not in this case, but in the case in Washington D.C. with Judge Chupkin. Hello, Roasted Opinions. Welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Now, Trump's attorneys, which case are they talking about in this one? I think this is the Chupkin case. Trump attorneys argue vindictive special counsel indictment criminalizes speech. They are asking for a dismissal of the case in Washington, D.C. On October 23rd, attorneys filed several motions to dismiss special counsel Jack's unprecedented case, attempting to put former President Donald Trump in jail for up to 35 years. The new motions, filed at 9:14 p.m. on Monday, moved to dismiss the case on both statutory and constitutional grounds and allege selective and vindictive prosecution before U.S. Judge Tanya Chutkin, a foreign-born Obama appointee who has publicly expressed personal animus against Trump and his supporters and refused to recuse herself from the case. That's one of the bigger problems. Why? RBA, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while either. Over on Rumble, I see you there. Monday's motion to dismiss, based on constitutional grounds, argues the entirety of Smith's case against Trump is based on prosecuting the latter's speech. Free speech is a constitutionally secured American right. Thank you for spelling that out, Federalist. Additionally, because this is a quote, additionally, as the United States has previously tried and acquitted President Trump for charges arising from the same course of conduct alleged in the indictment, the impeachment and double jeopardy clauses both bar retrial before this court and require dismissal, says the constitutional dismissal motion. I don't know if that, I'm not sure if that, well, I don't know. I'm not an expert, nor am I a lawyer, even though one of my nicknames is Lawyer Dog. But that, I'm not sure if that's going to fly. But I think there's other parts of this that may be correct. Finally, because of our country's long-standing tradition of forceful political advocacy regarding perceived fraud and irregularities in numerous presidential elections, President Trump lacked fair notice that his advocacy in this instance could be criminalized. Thus, the court should dismiss the indictment under the Due Process Clause as well. I don't know if that's probably worded. Look, how about he has a right to advocate for, claiming that it's erroneous. He absolutely has the right to do that. You're criminalizing him questioning election. And whether he's right or wrong, you can't, you're free to be wrong. And you're the president of the United States doing this in an official capacity. So there's a whole bunch of problems with this case. The motion quotes multiple Supreme Court cases, including multiple leftist judges affirming that Americans have a constitutionally protected right to speak freely, even when their statements are false. Chutkin has stated she believes the speech Smith is attempting to criminalize it with this indictment, publicly alleging problems with an election Democrats won comprises conspiracy theories. Doesn't matter. There's precedent on this. Another motion seeks to introduce some protections for Trump in a case that may involve a Washington, D.C. jury pool in a district where 92% voted for the president who demanded Trump's current prosecution. It requests the judge strike, quote, inflammatory allegations, end quote, from Smith's indictment, quote, because the government has not charged President Trump with responsibility for actions at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Allegations related to these actions are not relevant and are prejudicial and inflammatory. So they didn't charge him with any of the January 6th BS, and yet they're making that the case that the January 6th stuff is the reason that these charges are coming, basically. They prejudice it by saying, well, for this insurrection. Well, there is no insurrection because he's not being charged with that. So anyway, silliness. A footnote in the constitutional motion cites the Federalist reporting on 2020 election interference, the February 2020 Time article depicting powerful leftist shadow efforts to influence the election, and an August 2023 CNN poll showing almost 40% of Americans, including almost 70% of Republicans, believe that the 2020 presidential election was tainted by fraud or irregularity, a number that is increasing and has increased since 2020. The motion argues it's unconstitutional to criminalize false beliefs and notes that Smith's indictment would make America's most powerful people an arbiter of truth. It concludes that the 2020 election fairness must be a matter of public debate and not criminalized in the court. In every case, the indictment's basis for the allegation that President Trump's claims were knowingly false is that a member of the political establishment assured Trump that they were false. It notes, under the First Amendment, President Trump and his supporters are entitled to mistrust the words of such establishment-based government officials and draw their own inferences from the facts. So, they're making it a First Amendment case, and I think that might be pretty strong. I don't know. We'll see. But the problem is, though, if you get a 6-3 Supreme Court ruling on this that does not include any of the liberal justices, they'll just say it's a rigged court. It'll give Joe Biden an excuse to pack the court just before he leaves office. So you need to have an opinion it has to be like an 8-1 or 9-0 opinion. I don't think Ketanji Brown Jackson she'll make up some shit to strike, say no, that isn't right. But you still need an 8-1 decision or a 9-0 decision. Otherwise, no one's going to trust it. Because that's what they're doing. They're criminalizing someone's ability to challenge an election, whether they're right or wrong. All right, let's move on, and we'll do a little more of a little lightning round now. Other news that you already heard from me, PJ Media, former prosecutor, no indications of asphyxia or strangulation in George Floyd's autopsy. Well, you learned that from me a couple days ago. Yeah, we know that, but there's a more detailed article here on it. Let's see. Why is there what's? This is good. So remember when Soviet defector Yuri Bezmenov gave us the playbook on the commies' plan to take over the United States without firing a shot? In it, he describes how the Marxists don't plan social chaos like riots or civil unrest. They wait for something to happen, then keep the forward motion going. So Bezmenov, this is a good video to watch. I'm not going to play it because I think it's, well, how long is it? Yeah, it's like an hour long. But it's worth a watch. So in this PJ Media article regarding George Floyd, go ahead and watch that. Karine Jean-Pierre has to play cleanup. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre did cleanup on a Tuesday press briefing after facing backlash for responding to a question about anti-Semitism the previous day by pointing to hate-fueled attacks against Muslims. So they asked her about anti-Semitism, and she did a what about? What about all the Islamophobia? Let's see. Let's just play the clips. Let's see. This is which order are these in? I think. Here it is. Here's when they asked her about the rise of anti-Semitism in America. So here's her answer on that. There, we'll let it flick over here just a second. Today, geez. All right. I'm having internet issues here, apparently. All right, here we go.
In light of everything that's going
here.
His level of concern right now about the potential rise of anti-Semitism in light of everything that's going on in Israel.
So a couple of things.
Remember, now the question is about the rise in anti-Semitism. That's what the question's about. This is her answer.
We have not seen any credible threats. I know there's been always questions about credible threats, and so just want to make sure that that's out there. But look, Muslim and those perceived to be Muslim have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks. And certainly President Biden understands that many of our Muslim, Arab Americans and Palestinian American
what is she
loved
reading?
Ones and neighbors are worried.
She has notes about this, but it has nothing to do with the rise in anti-Semitism. What?
About the hate being directed at their communities, and that is something you heard the president speak to in his address just last Thursday. And so one of the things that the president has done is directed his team.
One of her tells when she's lying to us, her eyes blink really fast.
Security team to prioritize prevention and disruption of any emerging threats that could harm the Jewish, the Muslim, Arab Americans, or any other communities. And that is something that the president has sought to do and since day one. As you know, the president ran on
he was very clear on that.
You know,
I'm sure he was very clear on that.
Protecting communities, obviously, but bringing people together, protecting the soul of the nation. And so that is something that the president takes very, very seriously.
Does everyone in the White House this around here work on note cards? This is just weird. Didn't we watch what? No, we didn't watch this yesterday. You must have watched it on another show.
And
so anyway, the answer. So now she's got a little backlash from that. So now here's the part that.
Right. I want to make something clear at the top, because I understand how important moral clarity is, especially at this time.
More clarity.
Jews are targeted because of
the White House had to write a statement because she botched it.
Their beliefs or their identity. When Israel is singled out because of anti-Jewish hatred, that is anti-Semitism, and that is unacceptable. There is no place for anti-Semitism, full stop, period. This is important to the president. It's important to me personally and to everyone in the administration. Following the Hamas terror attacks in Israel, which were the deadliest for Jews since the Holocaust, the president has been consistent and clear. We must all do our part.
She loves to say he's been clear. I don't think the man's had a clear thought in his brain since 19 or not. Excuse me. I'll give him 2000. Let's say 2014. He hasn't had a clear thought in his brain since 2014.
And forcefully speak out against anti-Semitism. And we must ensure that there
and
is
you
no
didn't do it the
place
other day, so there you go.
for hate in America.
Why is Fetterman doing the sign language translation? So anyway, so they had to re-up their commitment to fighting anti-Semitism because it wasn't all that clear the last time she spoke. All right, in what is this? Oh, that's just the. I'll put these out in a separate link too. No, I won't. So let's just close that. All right, in the American Thinker, it's just weird how you start having these issues and then certain entities do things that make you go, New York Times hires a Hitler lover to cover the news in Gaza. This is fantastic. So in Israel, the foreign press is free to come and go. That means that media people can write whatever they like, no matter how obscene or untrue. Things are different in the Gaza Strip, however, and the Palestinian Authority. Both of those places are under the control of bloodthirsty tyrants. No sane journalist wants to report from those regions. They're nasty places to be, and you cannot report anything but the official party line, because you really can't have actual journalists among the Palestinians to the extent actual journalists still exist. So you hired locals. The most recent local that the New York Times has hired is a very, very big Hitler fan. The guy's name is Solomon Hiji. If you see his face, he looks like a guy you might see at a basketball or a baseball game. He may even be a fun guy to be around. See, Mr. Ordinary. But here's what you need to know about Mr. Ordinary. He just loves Hitler. He's a big, big fan. How great you are, Hitler, he shared with the world on his Facebook page in 2012. This is him right here. He's a Gods and freelance filmmaker, Solomon Hiji, who praised Hitler on his social media and later posted he was in a state of harmony as Hitler was during the Holocaust. There it is. That's him. With a little "how great you are, Hitler." Nor did he just slip up that time. Maybe when he was a bit drunk or not a good Muslim, whatever. Not that a good Muslim would ever drink, but maybe he was in an accident. Well, no, that wasn't just once. He did it again a few years later. Here it is, Solomon Hiji. And I'm in tune like Hitler during the Holocaust. May Allah have mercy on you, Atia, referring to somebody. So there's nothing surprising about a Muslim Arab loving Hitler, especially one who lives in the Gaza Strip. Islamic and Nazi goals are identical. Both want to eradicate the Jews, something more important to them than world domination. Hitler, as you may recall, rerouted trains that his military needed in order to ship more Jews to Auschwitz. But what's shocking and disgusting is that the New York Times would hire this man. Its staff are willing to dox parents at school board meetings, that is, do in-depth research into them and expose them to the leftists for the world for harassment and assault, but they can't be bothered to figure out that one of their stringers is an honest-to-goodness Nazi. Actually, that's not even the worst of it. Hiji had worked for the Times before and was fired for praising Hitler. The Times rehired him anyway. And then you wonder why the Times, without any research whatsoever, will instantly report on any propaganda that comes out of the Gaza Strip. This is what the Times wants. So, hey, way to go, New York Times. If it was FTG Thursday, well, we'd be dropping one right now. And the New York Post this morning, this is yesterday. This is yesterday afternoon. Apparently Bidenomics has just blown a $2 trillion hole in the federal budget. So the chickens are coming home to roost in the form of monstrous peacetime non-emergency deficit. expected to saddle the nation for decades. Just released Treasury data shows the reading doubled over this past year from about 1 trillion to 2 trillion. Yes, 2 trillion with a T. So much for President Biden's constant claims that he reduced the deficit. Sure, you can blame the massive sums Washington had to spend for its ongoing war, except there has been no war. Oh, wait, the war in Ukraine. Yeah, that one. You can blame COVID, but COVID's over. The recession? No, the economy grew at a faster clip during 2023 than 2022, and growing economies generally spin off more tax revenue that can lower debt. Nope, $2 trillion in overspending was the highest in U.S. history ever. Outside times of war, national emergency, or recession, per the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget. So, hide your buttholes. Illegal insurrection. China tightens exports on graphite. Oh no! That's a key component of electric vehicle batteries. Turns out graphite isn't only used in pencils. The compound, a crystalline form of the element carbon, is most commonly used to serve as an anode battery material. Serve as the anode material batteries for electric vehicles due to its relatively low cost and energy density. China, the top graphite producer, has just announced that it will begin tightening the supply. So guess what? The cost of EVs are probably going to go up again. And require export permits for some graphite products to protect national security. Interesting. It also refines more than 90% of the world's graphite into the material that is used in virtually all EV battery anodes, which is the negatively charged portion of the battery. This bold and unexpected move by China in graphite has taken us by surprise, arriving far sooner than anyone could have predicted, said Ken Hyun, Chief Commercial Officer at Alchemy Capital Investments, which focused on developing projects in the energy transition metal sector. So China's going to tighten the graphite supply. The Middle East oil supply has been tightened. Thankfully, we're pumping more oil in the United States again, but everyone's fucked. They're going to make you buy an electric vehicle in less than 10 years, but there won't be any batteries for them. So, FTG. Apparently, San Francisco is frantically trying to clean its streets ahead of a major global conference. San Francisco has begun to make several cosmetic changes throughout its crime-ridden neighborhoods ahead of the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation Leadership Summit in November. According to Bloomberg, the city expects to welcome 20,000 visitors when APEC begins next month and plans to shut down large swaths of road and freeway near where the conference will take place. Oh my God, this is going to be a smash and grab smorgasbord. Because when you go to San Francisco and you rent a car, or if you have a car that's obviously a rental car, they will smash the windows and take your shit right out of the car. Good morning, RVA and Cannibalistic Wizard. Or RVA was already here. And also, who else is that? Oh, Neil Masaki. What's happening? So they're going to shut down large swaths of roads and freeway near where the conference will take place. San Francisco plans to repaint its they're going to repaint the fire hydrants, scrub its sidewalks, replace older trash cans, fix broken windows at the planned conference site, and find beds and shelters for more homeless people on the streets ahead of APEC to make San Francisco look like one of the greatest cities in the world. And then as soon as those people leave, they'll let it go back to being its regular shithole self. So, yeah, just more out-of-towners to rob of their shit. Well, that's okay. Not literally, because the shit's on the sidewalk. So anyway, also the day of the caller, the ACLU announces a lawsuit. Now get this. A lawsuit to protect Black and transgender prostitutes, the right to give people HIV. Kind of like California, where they made it a misdemeanor. Knowingly giving someone HIV went from felony to misdemeanor, or, you know what I mean? The American Civil Liberties Union announced Tuesday they are suing the state of Tennessee over an HIV-related law. Quote, we are suing Tennessee for their aggravated prostitution statute that targets people with HIV with harsh punishment and lifetime sex offender registration. The law is unconstitutional and disproportionately affects black and transgender women. Motherfuckers, you stop using black people for your bullshit. Okay? Everything affects us more because we're a smaller portion of the population. And but no, you cannot use us for your bullshit lawsuit. I'm sorry. Stop it. Instead of criminalizing HIV, it's not criminalizing HIV. It criminalizes people who knowingly have HIV and knowingly have sex with other people. They're saying instead of criminalizing HIV, which disproportionately targets people who are already socially and financially marginalized, lawmakers should invest in evidence-based public health support for people with HIV. No, they can do that. They can do both. But if you knowingly have HIV and you get somebody else HIV, I should be able to sue your ass into oblivion and maybe you should be sitting in a jail somewhere. I'm sorry. Tennessee law prohibits a person from knowingly giving someone HIV through intimate contact without first informing their partner they had the disease and obtaining consent. Oh, so now you're discouraging consent laws? Holy shit. Holy shit. There's another law in Tennessee that prohibits a person who knows they have HIV from engaging in prostitution, soliciting prostitution, or being an inmate in a house of prostitution. What? An inmate? Anyway. African-American men are 6 times more likely to die from HIV than non-Hispanic white males. The U.S. Office of Minority Health and Okay, so if African-American men are 6 times more likely to die from HIV, why would you want to allow the spread of HIV even more by not being able to put the people in jail who knowingly give people HIV? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Hello, Mark Smart. Good God. They're stupid. They're just stupid. Their thinking is so backwards. It's like, no, if it affects African Americans more, you want to find ways to stop African Americans from getting it more. And if it's because they go to prostitutes who have HIV and the prostitutes knowingly give them HIV, I want that to be a crime. Not that I've ever been to a prostitute before. I've never done that. I don't plan on ever doing it anyway. I don't need to. Anyway, God, it just makes no sense. Whew, hello, Special Can Acid. Crabs won't kill you. You buy some weird soap and those little forky things just like you do for lice for kids, because it's the same shit, isn't it? Don't you use the same stuff you get lice out of kids' hair? I don't know. All right. Here's a shocker. COVID jabs linked to increased risk of children having seizures, finds FDA preprint study. Now, the FDA has been doing research on the Fauci juices, the various Fauci juices, various varieties. And for some reason, they refused to release their report. So I'm not sure where they got this report from. Young children have a significantly elevated risk of suffering seizures or convulsions after receiving the mRNA COVID-19 vaccinations, according to a recently published preprint study by the United States Food and Drug Association. So, YouTube, it's from a report from the United States Food and Drug Association. I thought it was administration. FDA. The FDA is administration. Whatever. The study, to which more than 24 scientists and researchers contributed, found that an increased risk of seizures occurred in children aged between 2 and 4 who received the mRNA Pfizer vaccine and 2 and 5 who received the Moderna. The researchers identified 72 seizures and convulsions among children in the aforementioned age ranges after the first 2 shots of either Pfizer or Moderna, with the most also occurring alongside fevers. The rate of seizures and vaccinations is about 1 per 2,500 jabs, which that drug would have never been approved in the past. It would have never been approved. But, you know, we are in emergency use authorization. Congratulations. Legal insurrection, 17. Okay, this is one piece of Israel news today. 1,700 sociology professors sign letter accusing Israel of genocide. They're not committing genocide. In fact, the only people trying to reduce civilian casualties probably would be Israel. Sociology professors from around the country have signed a letter accusing Israel of genocide and arguing that the Hamas terror attacks on Israel earlier this month must be seen with context. Oh, yeah. Let's put the murder and slaughter of innocents in context, because it must be seen with context. The letter drips with all of the propaganda buzzwords we've been hearing from the academic left for 2 weeks. This comes after Hamas raped, dismembered, burned, murdered at least 1,400 Israelis, including children, women, and the elderly, people dragged from their homes and cars. I don't get it. I don't get this at all. That they want to justify this. Do they not see the irony of their ways? And they used to call everyone Nazis, and now they're pretty much siding with what the Nazis wanted to do and making it it's all the Jews' fault. Sociology has here's the letter. Sociologists and sociologists in solidarity with Gaza and the Palestinian people. No, you're not in solidarity with the Palestinian people. You're in solidarity with Hamas. And if you had a brain, you would want to free the Palestinian people from Hamas, because Hamas is their problem. But here's the letter. Sociology as a discipline is rooted in a recognition of relationships of power and inequality. As sociologists and human beings, are you sure you're human beings? We unreservedly condemn the latest violence against the Palestinian people in Gaza and the West Bank at the hands of the Israeli regime. Are y'all forgetting something here? Did you write the same statement after Hamas went into Israel and killed 1,400 people? Isn't it weird? Let's see if this letter even acknowledges that. Or are they thinking that was a good thing? Over the past 7 days, the government of Israel has undertaken, in its own words, a complete siege of Gaza. Well, they haven't gone in yet. Remember? They haven't even gone in yet, dickwads. The second most densely populated place on the planet, home to 2.1 million residents, of which 1.7 million are refugees. Are they now? I thought Gaza was their home now. I thought Gaza was their place. Hello, Frankie Deller. I thought Gaza was a place that is their the two-state solution. Oh wait, that's right. They want to throw the Jews into the sea. While claiming its actions are a justifiable response to recent Hamas violence against Israeli citizens, let's see if they address that. It has targeted the civilian Palestinian population of Gaza. No, it's targeted Hamas missile sites, and they just happen to put their missile sites near schools and in mosques and near hospitals, even though they're bombing their own hospitals. While exhibiting little regard for the loss of human life. Wow, that sounds familiar. It almost, and when I say when it says sounds familiar, when Hamas celebrated the loss of human lives using oh no, they didn't. Here, wait. The next line. Let me give you the next line. Using racist and dehumanizing language.
That's racist!
Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant remarked, "We are fighting human animals and we must act accordingly." Who do you think he was referring to there? Do you think he was referring to the rank and file Palestinian people? Do you? Do you think when he says we're fighting animals and we must act accordingly, do you think he was referring to the rank and file Palestinian people? I'm going to guess he wasn't. I'm guessing he was talking to those animals known as Hamas. The people who came in there and, someone flew in there and started killing people and going through villages and just killing innocent people. But they don't mention that. Literally, their only mention of this is what he said and justify a response to recent Hamas violence. That's the only thing in this letter so far that even acknowledges why they're retaliating. In just 10 days, Israel has dropped over 6,000 bombs on Gaza, hit the Rafah crossing on the border into Egypt several times, targeted hospitals and ambulances. Lies. Members of the press, universities, United Nations schools, and relief offices, and has used white phosphorus, a highly flammable munition that the United Nations has banned for use in dense civilian areas. Really? They confirm all this? I'm curious where they get this information. Israeli forces have also cut off water, food, electricity, and medical supplies, which has pushed hospitals to a breaking point. This is an act of collective punishment. They are using all the buzzwords, aren't they? In contravention of international law, which threatens the lives of over 2 million people, half of whom are children. Think of the children. With unimaginable violence and displacement. As of this writing, over 4,385 Palestinians have been murdered, including a staggering 756 children and over 13,561 injured. Where are they getting their information from? We cannot sit back and witness the continuation of this genocidal war. We demand that our government push for an immediate ceasefire. This stance follows in the tradition of civil rights movement, anti-war and anti-apartheid protests of decades. But no, not anti-apartheid protests. Remember, they do not allow Jews in Gaza. The only apartheid is by the Palestinians, because the Palestinians can work in Israel. They can, if they live in Israel, Arabs who live in Israel can be in political office. It's just insane that the language they use. Okay, so they think they're freedom fighters. All right, enough of that shit. Fuck that guy. Fuck those professors. Thank you, Reverend Shitstain Powerful Pooper. Dropping a deuce in the super chats. Ow, damn it. Like a pineapple coming out. Okay, that's a little too graphic for my taste. Thank you, Professor Shitstain Pooper, Powerful Pooper. All right, let's finish up here. A few more articles and then I'm out of here. All right, in the Washington Free Beacon, I'm just talking about how the University of Pennsylvania anti-Semitism and controversy makes it harder to fire a controversial professor. On October 2nd, 5 days before Hamas slaughtered 1,400 Israelis in cold blood, the University of Pennsylvania issued a confidential memo to trustees about the school's commitment to free speech. Penn was facing blowback over the Palestine Rights Festival, an event sponsored by several university departments that brought a number of anti-Semites to campus, including former Pink Floyd frontman Roger Waters, who has referred to Jews as the K word. I'm not going to say it because that will get me. I'm not Jewish, so I can't say that one. Shut up, alarm. I know I got to go. and has worn Nazi uniforms on stage emblazoned with inflatable pigs and Jewish stars. In the memo obtained by the Washington Free Beacon came from the University President Liz McGill and board trustee Scott Bach. It explained why the festival had been allowed to take place because they hate Jews. That's why. It's just they've taught this campus to be anti-Israel. Anyway, I'm not. They're. Now here. Listen to this, and I'm all for free speech. If they want to have this conference, they can have it, and you can take the backlash. The consequences of it. But here's interesting. When it's a conservative speaker, maybe talking about LGBTQ stuff that can't whatever. They say the memo makes clear that even if Jews are harmed by the speech of radical left Palestinian supporters appearing at the Palestine Rights Festival, those organizing the Palestine Rights Festival and inviting Jew-hating Palestinian nationalists will not be punished because Penn permits and protects the expression of all viewpoints, even those that are contrary to Penn's institutional values. It really? Now, if a right-wing group comes and speaks at the University of Pennsylvania and has a shout down veto, are they going to protect that also? That's the only thing I don't like. They're very selective in who they will protect and not protect. In the New York Post, Hillary Clinton's confronted by heckler over Biden's warmongering speech. She tells him to sit the fuck down. I think she said that. Let's see how long this clip is. I can't hear you. Okay, here we go.
Funding. President Joe Biden is calling for $100 billion of funding for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine, and we're supposed to just bundle these together and pretend like we're going to rush to World War III and we're all just going to let Hillary Rodham sit here. Okay, the president is not speaking for the American people.
Well, that's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Yes, that's my opinion.
Well, then sit down. We've heard your opinion. Thank you very much.
Wow.
That's why tomorrow I'm going to send an urgent budget request.
Okay, so Hillary getting a little froggy.
Security.
But you know what? That's Hillary Clinton. Nobody cares. All right, the other articles, White House, Iran's aiding attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria. This is just another one of those things where John Kirby said on Monday that Iran is actively facilitating rocket and drone attacks by Shiite militias against bases housing U.S. American troops in Iraq and Syria. Said the White House has noted an uptick in rocket and drone attacks by Iranian-backed proxy groups against military bases housing U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria since Israel commenced its response to the savage Hamas attack on October 7th. So, gear up, everybody. Gear up. It's something's coming. Who knows? There's something due any day. And Iran-backed militants strike U.S. and coalition base as Blinken threatens decisive response. Now, it's interesting because if you saw my little clip of Biden speaking and him saying that, well, we don't know if we're going to have a response or not, or I never said that. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken pledged to respond rapidly to strikes from Iran-backed militias in defense of U.S. troops. So I have two articles on the same thing. So, drums of war are beating, guys. Drums of war are beating, and Iran's trying to provoke it. Hello, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
And then also there's an article on how Iran is infiltrating the highest levels of government. I know we talked about this a while back. Apparently, we're going to start with, for example, there's an Iranian influencer installed in the highest ranks of the Pentagon, Aryan Tabatabai. An Iranian American is currently serving as chief of staff to the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Special Operations. That's great. As reported last month by Semaphore, Tabatabai on multiple occasions requested guidance from the Iranian Foreign Ministry dating back to at least 2014. The emails themselves are now public when operating inside of the U.S., supposedly for our best interests. So she has contact. They're planting people in high places of high sensitivity, and we just go along with it. They're kind of like Dianne Feinstein's Chinese spy driver. And speaking of China,
China is asshole.
China deploys warships to the Middle East also and denies connection to the Israeli-Hamas conflict. The People's Liberation Army Navy of China deployed a task force of 6 warships to the Middle East over the past week, including 2 advanced guided missile destroyers. Chinese state media on Monday insisted the deployment was routine and unconnected to the war between Israel and Hamas. Well, I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that the United States dropped another carrier group over there. I just wonder, is this saber rattling? Okay. New York Post. Over 545,000 New Yorkers left the state in 2022, headed for Florida, Texas, and farther, according to the Census Bureau. So people are fleeing New York. Wasn't there a movie about that? Some Escape from New York or something like that? And then finally in the Daily Wire, this is the one, I have a second, I'll do this one. So there's a big lawsuit that names the American Academy of Pediatrics in a lawsuit that a transitioner is bringing to court. A woman who was pumped with testosterone and underwent hormone therapy when she was a young teenager is suing both her doctors and the American Academy of Pediatrics. Now, this is a big damn deal. Which your lawyers say knowingly lied about the impact of the radical sex change treatments it recommended, according to a copy of the lawsuit obtained exclusively by the Daily Wire. Isabella Ayala, now a 20-year-old woman, had just turned 14 when she was committed to the hospital for suicidal thoughts, according to the lawsuit. It was during this hospital stay that she met with Dr. Jason Rafferty, who during his brief meeting with Ayala determined that she meets the criteria to consider hormonal transition, with the only stated obstacle being parental consent. The lawsuit states that Rafferty had another doctor send Ayala down the path of gender-affirming medicalization rather than addressing the true roots of her mental health problem. 6 months into her testosterone treatments, Ayala tried to commit suicide, which, of course, that's how it seems to be. Treatments, however, continued, and Ayala moved away from Rhode Island and decided to quit them cold turkey. Now comfortable with her gender, she regrets that what her doctors did to her, the lawsuit says. So, but the fact that she's suing the American Academy of Pediatrics, which has been made guidance that is outside the realm of the World Association of Transgender Health. This is going to get interesting because the courts are starting to, again, we talked about how the other day that some of these cases where states are passing laws on this, on pediatric or, underage minors being transitioned, that the courts have had disparate decisions in different circuits. And so it's probably going to go to the Supreme Court, and we'll see what happens. But this is a big deal. Mike, what do you mean nobody cares? I'm not talking about Hunter Biden right now. Where are you? How far behind are you? You must be like an hour past back in the show somewhere. We've long gone past it, and what's hilarious about it is you just keep your head in the sand about that one. You just keep your head in the sand. I love you, Mike, but keep your head in the sand about the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, the Biden crime family shit, okay? You just keep your head in the sand. All right, guys, I got to go. Let's get back to my face. Hello, that's me. Poof. Not quite. There we go. I got to go. Thanks, everyone, for being here. We'll be back tomorrow for FTG Thursday. This show's Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Share the stream. And consider making a donation to the show. I'm starting to get those medical bills. So, whoo, nasty. Even with my insurance, which is awesome. The surgery. Okay, here's the thing. The surgery itself, my insurance, 100% covered. It's like a $47,000 bill we got the other day, but it's all the privilege shit they still charge you for. Like and it's not even just copays. But so anyway, that's that. I'm not begging for money. Guys, I got to go. Thanks for being here. I will be here tomorrow. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. The links will be in the outro, in the chat, during the outro. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.